In this third episode of season 2, we are so excited to interview Miss Molly Cress Reed of Hieroglyphic Arts Entertainment Group. Enjoy. All right. So thank you for joining us today. We have Molly Reed, who is the co-founder of Hieroglyphics, the specialty entertainment company here in Nashville. So thank you, Molly, for coming on.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So first of all, can you tell us about, well, first that name, Specialty Entertainment Company, like that is very catchy. So tell me, what does that mean?
Yeah, so essentially we offer a variety of styles of specialty entertainment, which kind of encompasses like all types of different performance art, um, ranging from aerial arts to fire dancing to character roving to LED dancers to anything you can like dream up, essentially. And our goal is to kind of bring to life really interactive and captivating like visuals for events of all kinds.
Okay. So I met you doing the fire spinning class. Now tell me specifically, what else do you do?
Yeah, I used to offer the fire spinning classes. Unfortunately, we had to stop due to the studio closing down. But I am offering privates with that. Currently, I'm also teaching weekly classes at our aerial studio here in Nashville called Misfit Academy. I do the intermediate slash advanced classes. And yeah, it's really, really fun to teach there and to teach in general. That's a big passion of mine. And then on top of that, I perform kind of just all over town. I do weekly performances at Skull's Rainbow Room with the Rainbow Room Review, who's amazing. And then I do monthly performances, or our company does monthly performances at Honey Tree Meadery, which is Nashville's only meadery, and then Old Glory, which is a super cool like speakeasy style bar, along with Suspended Gravity Circus. So we kind of bop all over town, and on top of all of that, we just do like random events that we get hired for as well, just random things like that. So yeah, I'm all over town.
So awesome. That sounds so fun. So tell me, how did you get started in flow arts and your craft?
So at the very beginning, my partner at the time, who is still my partner now, we met when we were 18 and we've been together ever since pretty much. He was kind of getting into that and I just like fell in love with it. I was like, what is this? Like, this is so cool to me. I had been to Bonnaroo, a few times. I had gone to Bonnaroo a lot with my dad growing up, actually. And he like introduced me to the music festival scene and seeing like all the beautiful girls like playing with their hula hoops in the like in the festival grounds. I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that. That looks so cool. And so essentially I just got a hula hoop and started doing it. Started learning tricks online, started just going in my backyard and training and training and training. And eventually I discovered fire. And that I think is what really lit the passion, not like for lack of a better, and not trying to be cheesy, but it really did like light the passion for flow arts for me. When I saw a fire performer at a local music festival, it just like absolutely blew my mind. And I was like, that's a thing. You can do this. Like, I want to do that right now. And so I just purchased like the materials online and very unsafely started doing it in my backyard. And it just kind of has taken off from there. I found kind of like a community and went to festivals where it specializes in teaching people this kind of thing, called flow festivals, and that has definitely opened doors for me in learning like the technique and everything. So I started as just a girl in her backyard with fire, but yes, we moved locations, but my internet. So essentially, I started kind of just as a girl in my backyard with fire and have grown to be the artist that I am after meeting people and finding a large community actually that exists here in Nashville and like around the world, really. You'd think it's like a small, like niche thing, but it's actually like very big community.
So for those who don't know, can you tell us what is flow arts?
Yeah, so flow arts, I guess my definition of it would be kind of like, I guess like to simplify it would be like prop dancing. That would be like a simple way of putting it. But essentially, flow arts like kind of encompasses like a lot of different styles of prop dance, and um, it's kind of a style where, like you were saying earlier, kind of like are like tapping into and like diving into like a flow state, because it's not essentially like a choreographed dance, whereas like ballet or something like that is very technique heavy and, oh, this is how you do it kind of thing. Flow arts is more of like a loose ended, free form, like in the flow, style of dance, with props generally. So yeah, a big one that's super popularized would be like poi. And I know that a lot of people that aren't familiar with flow arts have seen poi, in like different settings and stuff like that. It's basically just like a ball on a string, and you have two of them, and you swing them around. That's like the dumb way of explaining it, or not dumb, but like simplified way of explaining it. And yeah, but that transforms into a million different other props like hula hoops, fans, rope dart, dragon staff, contact staff. I could go on forever. But it's pretty much an endless list of, these like basically toys for adults in a way, that we just get to play with and, manipulate to make shapes. And yeah, that's pretty much my definition of it, I guess.
Oh, so like from doing research, because flow arts did inspire this podcast. So when I first started to learn about flow and flow arts, from my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed as if like in contrast to like a painter painting and you don't start off in the flow, of course you end up as a result of painting, you end up in the flow, hopefully. But it seemed like when I was watching other people do like the spinning or the with the staff, um it seemed like the goal was to, like, you were dancing with the goal of getting into the flow. Does that make sense? Instead of it just happening, that was the goal
Yeah,
of it. So,
absolutely. So I think for me, that was something that really, when I started, I was like seeking that like really heavily. And it's really hard to do when you're just like learning how to do the basics. It's really difficult to like tap into your flow when you are struggling to like physically do the moves, that you want to do. So I think that a big thing that maybe even could be compared to painting is like you have to really drill and practice these skills to then be able to use them in your flow essentially. And being in a flow state is something that honestly I don't know that I could teach it to anyone. Like it's something that just comes with like time. Like I could sit here and I could teach you a move or a trick or a thing that you can do, but that's not going to show you like how to find that state of being where you're really like in the zone and flowing. So yeah, that's a good observation because it's definitely not something that just comes like that.
that's cool. So what do you love most about what you do?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think what I love, the thing that I have always loved most about it is being able to impact like other people's lives with it and being able to show people their like full potential and their ability, and being like a full-time performer and teacher like is possible, and like speaking that out into existence and, you know, making opportunities for other people to pursue their passions, like creating platforms and, you know, spaces for creatives to like express themselves and get paid for it, and not have to scrape by and make it a real career. That's been like a huge passion of mine this whole time, because I knew it could be done. It's just like you often hear in this in every creative art form, you know, that it's not a career path. Oh, it's not a valid, like, what are you going to do as your backup plan? Is always a big question that I used to get when people would say, like, when I was growing up, people would be like, oh, what do you want to be? And I'm like, I want to be an artist. And people would always be like, "Oh, well, okay, so if that doesn't work out, what else do you want to be?" And my response would always be like, "Well, do you say that to someone who says they want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse or something?" Like, no, this is a valid career path, and like, why question it? So being able to like really propel people forward and like lift others up through my craft is like definitely my biggest part, my favorite, my most favorite part of this all, for sure.
I love that answer because it's so inspiring. Because when you're from the outside coming into a new craft and you're starting off, you do need someone, a teacher who is encouraging you to let you know, like, hey, it's okay when you're starting off. You're going to mess up, but you learn the foundation, you learn the basics, and then you're able to get into those bigger aspects of it on down the line. So, such a good answer. Um,
Thanks.
can you tell us about your creative process?
Yeah. So I guess I have a few different creative processes, but I guess as far as kind of like creating like a performance, what I usually do when I'm starting out with choreography specifically, I will literally play the song that I want to choreograph to and just go and do the thing to it. And I don't put limitations on myself. I don't try to hit any marks or anything like that. I sometimes will only listen to the music half the time while doing it, and certain things will just come to me slowly. And often what I find is once I do that, I've kind of understood like the energy of the song, and then being able to choose like my big moments is usually what I do. So say there's a big moment in the song here, I'm like, okay, I know I want to do this huge like showy move right there, and then I'll build from out from there essentially, and just slowly add in like elements, and also something about choreography specifically, until you see the whole thing and you're like, okay, this is maybe what I want to do, and then you see it all together, you're like, okay, never mind, I'm going to change everything. Like, and I know that's totally a thing for all creative processes too, and just ever changing and until it's like absolutely perfect what you like envision, which is hard with live performance because things go awry sometimes. But in my creation process, that's usually what I do, starting out.
That's cool. So when you're out there and you're doing your thing and you're in the process of your choreography, can you describe like what is it like to enter into the flow state in that setting?
Yeah. I guess for me, it's kind of like, I guess for lack of a better word, it's almost similar to like not disassociating. I don't want to say disassociating, but it almost is like it's like a meditative state where you're not conscious of like the worries of the world, like, and everything else around you. Like, it pretty much is like your only like vision and your only focus is that one thing that you're doing, and like it's nothing else really matters. And it's a beautiful place to be for sure.
So like and again, this podcast is about like helping people overcome stagnation and depression and just getting stuck in, whether it be in their art, in their career, or just in life in general. So can you talk about, let's start off with maybe a situation in your craft. Have you ever felt stuck or gotten stuck in the middle of your flow, like performing, or like maybe I don't know if it would be like choreography block. I don't know if you guys get that. I'm not a dancer, but can you talk about that?
Yeah, totally. That's definitely happened. It's actually funny, like with like being a flow artist, it's you can be like in the flow and then you get in one position and then you're like, oh, what was I doing? And then you like keep going. That's definitely something I see myself doing a lot, when doing freestyle performances like that and being really tapped into the flow, or even when I'm just like playing around and like dancing to like with my friends or like practicing. You often like, especially when you're practicing new moves, can get like stuck in a position and then you're like, oh, this is where I was going. So that's definitely a thing. And it can be like weird because it's not like you're like fully pulled out of like the flow state, but it's like a pause almost where you're like, what was I doing? And then as far as like, getting kind of in like a creative rut with like choreography, that's definitely a thing. And also like choreography is just one like facet of it. So like costuming, like concept for acts, storytelling and like everything that comes along with like putting on a performance. I've definitely gotten stuck in creative ruts. And I feel like I was in one recently, but I was so busy. I wasn't even able to like think about creating anything new. It's just kind of like presenting what I have created essentially and kind of in that mode of like presenting, presenting, presenting. And then it's kind of like, oh, I haven't created anything like new or like fresh to me in a long time. So I think like a big thing that's different with like painting and like or like visual art versus like a dancing is this or movement art in general is that like I it's live. I guess that's the big thing is that it's like a in-person experience whereas like something you're going to create something tangible that's like on paper. And so the creative block like sometimes you just can't afford to have it and you just have to go for it and do the thing. Whereas painting I know you can literally just sit there and you're like I don't know what to paint. Like movement art I feel like is so like um I don't know, intangible. Like you can't, box it in. You can't, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? I think.
So it's kind of like that. My next question was, and it seems like you've already answered it. My next question was like, how do you deal with it when you get stuck? And it sounds like I love what you said earlier. You said it's you wasn't really stuck or pulled completely out of that flow, but it was just more like a pause. So would you
Yeah.
say like the way you deal with it is you just keep moving, you just keep going, or how do you? What would you say?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to just keep creating and like even as artists, you know how it goes. Like we are perfectionists. We don't want to present anything to the world that's not absolutely exactly how we envision it. But you're stifling yourself if you don't. And so and this applies to getting stuck too. Like you just kind of have to keep on creating, keep pushing, even if you feel like it's garbage and you don't like it, just keep on pushing and keep on creating. And that is really my biggest advice. And sometimes, sometimes you do have to take a step back. Sometimes you do have to take a break for your mental well-being, and that is totally valid. And I think there's a difference between, oh, I'm burnt out, I need a total break, like get me away from this, and oh, I'm just in a little rut right now. Because I think you'll surprise yourself if you just keep pushing what you can do and what you're capable of. And what your mind will come up with in even in those dark places of oh, I'm stuck in this place, I'm stuck in this rut, I'm stuck in this, like dark place. Like it honestly breed some of the most beautiful art if you just keep pushing. So
I love that. I was going to ask, and again, I feel like you're kind of like answering my questions as I go.
sorry. I'm just like
But do you see any similarities in finding your creative flow and finding your flow in life in general?
yeah. I think that I don't ooh, that's a good question. Ooh.
I always try to like I always try to link the art to life because art does imitate life. So I think a lot of the questions that we seek in life can be answered through creativity and through art if we just look at it in a different way. So that's why I ask the questions that I ask.
Yeah, preach. That is so true. Um, can you ask the question again, just so I can like really process it?
Yeah. Do you see any similarities in finding your creative flow and in finding your flow in life in general?
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of a hard question for me in a way because my creative flow like is my regular life.
Okay.
Like, does that make sense? Like, I literally wake up and am immediately like let's go. Like until I'm like going to bed. This I've kind of crafted and designed my life to be surrounding my art. And um it's an integral inherent like part of my life. So I feel like it definitely is like intertwined, and like I definitely see myself subconsciously representing my life in my art for sure. So maybe that's like kind of like a correlation too. It kind of goes both ways. But I guess that's kind of my answer to that. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's kind of like you're living the goal of like most artists is like we want to be able to have our life, I guess our life centered around our art instead of the other way around. And a lot of
Yes,
times we just do it the other way around just out of necessity because, you know,
exactly.
gotta eat.
Oh,
So
seriously. And like I feel, I mean, so fortunate to be the age that I am and be doing what I do full time. Like I feel like it's such a rare thing. I feel like hardly anyone gets to experience this. And I feel like it's the privileges that I've been given. I know it's the circumstances that I'm in. And I know like I just got freaking lucky. Like I know that like people don't get this experience often. And I just feel so like ever grateful to like be living this. That being said, it's not easy. And I definitely am scraping by still, financially, and it would be a lot easier to just go get a normal job. But that being said, I'm like 10 times more fulfilled not doing that. So yeah, it's really it's something that I feel so fortunate about.
definitely. And thank you for, you know, telling us that part of your life. And I definitely understand that I guess with any artist it is always that duality where you're like, oh, should I get a regular job or should I do my art? And it's like sometimes I go back and forth when I can and do both. But yeah, I'm personally have started a regular job recently and it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, we'll see.
It's a lot too, and this is something that I think a lot of people don't think about is when you're pursuing a creative career, you're really putting your whole heart into it. And so going to a job where you either have to talk to people and like be a people pleaser or like be a service industry worker or something else that's going to take your creative energy or your energy in general is going to it's give or take on both sides, you know? So it's so tricky. And I was definitely like when I first started, I was not, I mean, it was not immediate. I was definitely working serving jobs and working and performing at the same time and teaching and doing it all. And I mean, my physical and like mental and emotional exhaustion was like unmatched. Like I have never been so like drained in my whole life when I had to do both. And I know that that's most creative situation. Like that is usually what creatives have to do until they make their big break or like something happens, you know. And it's 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 no joke. It's not for the faint of heart to be a creative and be working a regular job. Like it is no joke.
So glad that you talked about that because you know, if you don't have any other creative friends or you're the only creative that you're not in that circle or you're not in a community of creatives, you can feel alone. You can feel like, oh, I suck because I still have to do this, and you in the world of social media and you think that everything is so like quick and I'm supposed to go viral, I'm supposed to be here. And it's just good to know that like for anybody out there who is feeling bad because they have to go back to work or that they're still working a job, don't feel bad because it's life. Like we all have done it, we all still do it, we all sometimes go back and forth with it. So like you said, it's no quick fix, it's not just overnight that it happens, but it's definitely okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's not a reality that I have like that I live free of, you know, like it's something that I've even recently been considering, okay, like maybe I need to go get another job that can support me financially so I can do my art more feasibly, you know, and more comfortably. And I don't have to take gigs that I don't necessarily want to do. And I can be more, choosy and like in line with what I want to create. because that's a lot of things that I have to sacrifice. Like, of course, I'm still going to do my art form. It's a dream, but I am also doing my art form in the framework of what other people want to see.
Mm.
And so to be able to have time to create what I want to create is something I have yet to find while being a full-time like artist and performer and teacher. It's really tricky to find that time to just create when
I
you're doing it full time. So that's definitely something that I've been thinking a lot about recently. And talking to my like long-term performer friends who've been doing this for a very long time, like most people do have another job, like a regular job that, kind of fulfills their financial needs so that they can do the art that they want to do. So that's something that I've been considering a lot and thinking about a lot. And it's something that I might be doing soon. Who knows? So yeah, no, it's very valid. And I think that people do get caught up in the social media and what it looks like everyone's doing, and that's so hard to get caught in that. And I definitely felt that early on when I first started. I was like, what is happening?
So, do you
So,
have any advice? And of course, we're not doctors. I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor, but we are both people who have had experience in this life of creating and living and struggling and going up and down. So, do you have any advice from just from your perspective of for anyone out there who's feeling stagnant or stuck in their art career or just stuck in life in general? What would you say to them?
I think it really depends. I feel like my biggest thing would be to say, let me think about it. um like we talked about earlier, keep pushing, keep creating, and don't limit yourself um, with your own standards, because something you think might be terrible, someone else is going to see and think it's the greatest thing on the planet. So don't stifle yourself with that and those kinds of thoughts. And know the difference between needing a break and um not working and not doing what you need to do to propel yourself forward, because obviously we need breaks, like we all need breaks, that's part of this process. But you have to know the difference between, oh, I'm just taking a break, and oh, I need to just keep pushing and I need to like propel myself forward. So I guess that, and then be gentle with yourself.
That's good. That's great advice. I'm gonna pause you right now because we have a little less than a minute. So what I'm gonna have to do is send you another Zoom invite. I have like maybe 3 to 4 more questions to ask you, and
Okay.
we'll be finished. Which project are you most proud of right now?
I think right now I'm probably most proud of a recent act that me and my partner brought to a show that's part of Kindling Arts Festival called Taboo. And our act was basically about gender roles, and we were both kind of representing like the opposite gender role. So I was representing male gender roles and he was representing female, and we were kind of making almost like a mockery of like the ideas and standards of like gender. So that one I'm really proud of. We worked really hard on it, and it was our first time ever performing acro, partner acro, like in front of a crowd. So it was huge for us, and it was scary to do something new because I'm used to just doing what I know. So I'm really proud of that one. That one's probably my most proud right now.
Okay, awesome. Is there a way that we can see that? Was it a live performance or a video? You have anything like that where people can go and watch that performance?
I should post it. I haven't posted it. We definitely have a full video of it. We
Oh,
haven't shared anything from it, but we probably will be. So if you just keep an eye out.
okay.
um,
All right, so remember to keep an eye out for her social media and what was the pyroglyphic.
Yeah, pyroglyphics. And then my personal like performer name, I guess you could say, is Fire Nymph.
Okay. All right, and so what are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm actually knee deep in coordinating for a festival that is going to be in downtown Nashville. It's called Deep Tropics. It's actually Nashville's like very own like EDM festival. And their main focus, I'm super proud of kind of like their mission is essentially to be like the greenest party in America. They want to be the most sustainable music festival like in North America. So yeah, that's their kind of their goal and their mission, and they like definitely show that through their production team and like their processes. And we're kind of even being more like aware of our sustainability efforts as a performance team. So yeah, I'm their performance art director, and I'm currently like gathering all the performers and creating costuming and prepping some stage shows for that. And that's August 18th and 19th.
Lovely, awesome. So that's
Coming up.
fun, really quick. It's coming up soon.
Yeah.
So,
It's nerve-wracking,
I bet.
but exciting.
Right. So you have shared a performance clip with us. Can you describe what the people are going to see?
Yeah, so I shared my like fire reel that kind of just shows a lot of the fire performance that I have to offer and all of my different props. Although it is a little dated at this point, you can tell by the length of my hair. It's a little out of date, but it still is applicable and showcases my skills. So it's kind of just like my reel showing off my fire. And then I also sent a aerial performance from Kindling Arts Festival 2 years ago. So it's aerial, one of my first aerial performances, one that I'm super proud of. And yeah, that's kind of what you're about to see.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and go to that clip now. All right. Okay, and so as you could see, the reason why her name is Fire Nymph because she is amazing at what she does. And so if you want people to come and check you out, if anybody sees this and they're interested in getting a personal class, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so you can contact me through Instagram. My Instagram is fire.nymph. And you can just go ahead and shoot me a DM. And my email is also on there if you prefer to reach out through that way. But my email is mollycress23, Molly CRESS 23 at gmail.com. And you can just reach out. We can figure out a time that works for both of us and make it happen. I'm totally taking on new private students right now for fire. And me and my partner were actually just talking about bringing back a weekly, if maybe not weekly, but probably bi-weekly fire class. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to post details very soon about that. So yeah.
I'm definitely in on that because I did take one of your classes and I had such an amazing time. You are an awesome teacher. I did get a chance to meet your partner, and he is also a wonderful teacher as well. Um, and if anyone wants to hire you guys to perform at one of their events, how would they still contact the same information, or how would they contact you for that as well?
Yeah. So you can contact us through Instagram on the pyroglyphics Instagram. So that would be pyro.glyphics. And then we also have our email on there as well. And we typically prefer to take booking kind of stuff to the email. So yeah, you can contact us there. The email is great, or DM, and we can start in the DM and then take it to email or whatever works for you guys. We're down to make it work no matter what.
All right. So I just want to thank you so much for this amazing interview, and thank you for giving us your time today. Again, I was very much inspired by flow arts, and I feel so blessed to have met you, and just you're an inspiration. So thank you for coming, and we appreciate you here.
Thank you. This is such a cool concept, and I think you're gonna go so far with it. And I'm like so happy to be a part of it. It's an honor. Thank you so much. I've always wanted to do something like this, so it's really cool to be able to share this side of myself because I never ever speak in public or do anything like that. So it's cool to share this side.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been Creative Legacy Art Podcast. If you like this video or if you like this podcast, please subscribe, join, do all the things, and share above all, share so that we can grow as a podcast and get the word out and help as many people as we possibly can. Have a great day, and remember to stay strong, stay positive, and keep creating.